I'm Steve Urkel.
And I'm Stefan Urkel.
And this is Makeovers.
I've been wanting to feel like a horse.
Yeah. We should really nail down the rest of our Rugrats video because we still need to figure out where Chucky's working.
I just kind of assumed Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Girl just really needs to know what happens after they're all grown up to the whole gang.
I feel like we're filming.
Ah, nerds, get out of my way!
Ow. Where did these lockers come from?
Nobody cares what happens to the Rugrats after all grown up, especially not from you two rainbow faces.
Actually, I think the world is ready for a continuation of their story.
Nothing. Nobody cares what happens to you guys. I'm gonna go underneath the bleachers with my really cool boyfriend and smoke cigarettes. Catch you chumps later.
She's so cool.
Yeah.
Wish we could be as cool as her.
I mean, I'd settle for not getting shoved into lockers every day, but...
Hey, Chloe.
Yeah, Noah?
I think I have an idea.
So we just step inside and it makes us cool?
That's what it said on the instructions.
Are you sure about this?
Never wrong.
No, never.
Right. Cool.
Yeah, let's get cool. Whoa, it worked.
Yeah, it did. We're cool.
Yeah, we're like kind of hot.
Yeah.
I'll let you keep your knee braces.
Well, yeah, they're hot.
Yeah, your slutty knee braces.
Want to film a video?
The makeover is a long-standing trope in many forms of media.
It often represents a coming of age or other major life change.
It is a transformation of the self made physical by a change in appearance.
It can be as simple as someone cutting their hair. It's a very easy way to show the transition between one state and another. It's very dramatic. I think it probably has something to do with like the violence of the cutting.
Or it can be a complete style change, throwing out who they once were and becoming somebody completely new.
And it is most commonly used to show that a girl is becoming a woman.
We see this a lot with characters like Sabrina, who go away as girls and return home as women, or with characters who decide to simply move past girlhood and step into their lives as women.
It is also, not surprisingly, often extremely misogynistic. These girls usually start perfectly happy where they are, in a very authentic and self-actualized state where they're just happy being the weird little girls that they are and aren't too concerned with or even aware that there's something else they're supposed to be.
And then the after, which we as an audience are meant to see as an improvement and go, oh wow, she was beautiful all along, is always just that girl styled to fit the male gaze now.
And it's always worse.
It's always worse.
So we made a list of the worst ones.
These are the top 16 makeovers that were hate crimes, actually.
It was very hard to judge just how hate crimes some of these were, so we divided them into categories, which in turn are ranked by how relevant the makeover is to the plot.
First up is movies where the makeover has a specific disguise purpose. We are still supposed to think that these women look better after their makeovers, and I still think they were fine before.
But we get it. The makeover serves a narrative purpose, and if it is the entire conceit of your film, I understand why you're using it. But why was that the entire conceit of your film? Questions?
First up, at number 16, is Never Been Kissed.
Josie starts out in a frumpy suit with relatively unstyled hair, haunted by her terrible high school experience.
And then she has to get made up like a trendy teen in order to pass as a high schooler when she goes undercover for the newspaper.
And it's weird and problematic.
There's not a single romance in the movie that isn't incredibly weird and problematic.
Maybe movies should stop sending adults to high school, because it wasn't good in 21 Jump Street.
And it's not good here. It's never good. The makeover itself is kind of fun in this one, though. Josie's first attempt at 1999 fashion is just very over the top and does not in any way help her to blend in as a teen. And I think it's really cute. And then throughout the movie, her style evolves into something more cute and colorful and youthful. And while I do like how she ends up looking and dressing, I also think she looked cute the whole time. It's Drew Barrymore, she's never not gonna look cute.
Yeah, as a method of self-discovery, it's not the most egregious.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's number 16 and not higher.
Yeah. Number 15 is Miss Congeniality.
Grace Hart is an FBI agent who presents in a very masculine way. She seems perfectly content with her FBI uniform and her sensible shoes and ponytail, and she does not care about her appearance at all. She refuses to conform to the male gaze and often looks down on women who do.
And then she has to infiltrate a beauty pageant and she has to get an ultra-feminine makeover in order to do that.
This makeover makes sense because it's the entire conceit of the movie, and it's completely justified by the plot, but I don't feel good about it still.
Yeah. Honestly, I kept forgetting to be mad about it because the entire time I was just thinking about the Derek Haley you.
That we were writing while we were
watching it. Which does make a lot of the creepy things that the men do way less creepy and does make her way more fun with the decisions that she makes. It had some good things to say about female relationships and friendships and situations where femininity is discouraged, but like masculinity in women is never encouraged, so it's a lose-lose no matter what you're doing to try to win over men who are being mean to you in a situation. And I like it when the main lady starts dating the nice pageant lady, and that's really all that I paid attention to.
This makeover also just feels homophobic, because Grace is incredibly lesbian-coded throughout the movie and its sequel. At the start, she's styled very much just as a long-haired butch, and there's even a deleted scene where she goes to her father's wedding dressed in a suit, and he asks if she's a lesbian.
Are you a lesbian?
Dad. I wish.
I think that this movie would have been perfect if it was about her realizing that her wish could come true and she could be a lesbian, and then she and Cheryl kissed at the end. Also, this is just kind of a common theme of many of these movies, where the women just kind of look like lesbians at the beginning, and then they just have to dress straight by the end of it, and that's not great.
It's a very non-nuanced and unideal shorthand for fixing a problem with a woman to make her more appealing, and it's not great.
Not great.
Number 14 is Mean Girls. This is when we're switching categories.
So these are ones where the makeover is a part of the plot, but it's not a necessary element. It's not something that needs to happen, because like Miss Congeniality and Never Been Kissed, they have a very specific plot point that requires a makeover.
Or at the very least, it requires a disguise. And the fact that the movie is using it as an opportunity to make the character hotter instead of just not looking like themselves is a whole different issue. But at least there's some ground that they've got.
Yeah. These ones, it is relevant to the plot. They're still just trying to make them hot, though. Mean Girls features a very conscious and deliberate makeover wherein new, uncool girl Katie is styled by her uncool friends to be able to infiltrate a group of popular girls at school in order to ruin their lives. Since Katie's never been to school before, she doesn't understand the way that everyone is seeing her suddenly as a hot girl, and as she gets more caught up in it, her makeover stops being so much a costume and starts being her new style, as a backdrop for her new mean attitude.
It kind of culminates in her realizing that she can care about who she is and what she represents, and have her friends without being the worst person alive. And then there's some shaming of other girls for following beauty conventions, but not as much as there could be. Like, it tried to have a point of view, for sure.
Overall, I'd say this one is fine because of the narrative surrounding the makeover, but I still think she looked cute at the beginning. Number 13 is She's All That.
I've never actually seen She's All That. I just know it from in a Harry Potter musical when Quirrell and Voldemort are arguing about it, and then they start singing about how they're in love.
It's been parodied so many times that I feel like nobody really needs to watch She's All That to have seen She's All That. Basically, the most popular boy in school makes a bet that he could make any girl prom queen, and Lainey, the most uncool girl in school, is chosen as the victim of this bet. bet. This is probably one of the most iconic examples of girl takes off her glasses and lets down her ponytail and oh wow, she's been beautiful all along. So it feels necessary to address. I think Lainey's style was really cute pre-makeover. Like, you could tell right away that she was an artist and she was always dressed very comfortably, but in ways that still expressed her creativity. I know that the plot required a makeover, but I don't think she needed one at all.
Number 12 is the House Bunny. I also haven't seen this one, but I liked that in the trailer we watched, it wasn't some new hot girl coming in and telling all of these uncool girls that they had to change the perfectly okay way that they were in order to be cool. It was these girls who were not super content with being uncool who demanded that they get a cool makeover. But that's only something I can really enjoy in a vacuum where the standard of being hot isn't impressed on women all the time everywhere, and I think that if my college experience was like this, that would be exhausting.
I think the House Bunny is a little bit fun. It's about a sorority that's about to be shut down because nobody wants to join it, so they have to give themselves a makeover to get new members to join. They end up realizing that they don't actually like being popular and end up giving themselves new makeovers that combine the new styling tips they've learned with things that they actually like. And I think that's nice. Honestly, this would probably be much lower on the list except for Kat Dennings' character's makeover.
What happens to her?
That one specifically was real bad.
Like, I can't fault people for learning styling tips, but like, movies do not exist in a vacuum. Why did you need to learn them? Next up is the Duff. And oh my god, I hate it with every fiber of my being, but that's more on like a conceptual level than the actual film and how it plays out, or even the book, which I read and also hated on every level. Like, I could talk for 20 minutes about how the title pisses me off so much.
What?
DUFF, Designated Ugly Fat Friend.
And body expectations for women, and the media is giving everybody really intense body dysmorphia, but like, I guess I don't hate the idea of this main girl realizing that she's just as cool as her popular friends and that she could wear things that aren't overalls. But like, I hate the concept surrounding it, and I hate all of it. And when I was a kid and I saw trailers for this movie, I would just kind of scream on principle because
it's not great. I think that it could have been a very cute movie and it had some nice moments with a lot of potential, but oh my god, it's not great. If it was rewritten with a completely different framing device and you removed all of the body shaming, it could be a very cute movie, but as it stands, it is not ideal.
Number 10 is The Princess Diaries, which is the most iconic story of all time, but also I feel like girls should be allowed to have whatever eyebrows they have. That's my political stance. The good things in it were that, like, the fashion and her likes and dislikes were mostly avoided in favor of focusing on her learning how to behave like a proper young royal lady, which is something I guess technically anybody in that situation would have to learn regardless of if they already had super stylish hair. So that was pretty good. And then we get to see a lot about how the stuff that she likes is really cool and fun, actually, and she's having a great time just being herself, and corn dogs are great, actually. It's all fun, and Julie Andrews is there. And then it loses all of those points for having every aspect of her makeover tied directly to her physical features. She's in a school uniform for most of the movie, so there's not a lot of changes in her little plaid skirt and blazer. A mean Frenchman comes on and just kind of insults her hair and breaks her glasses, and her eyebrows are a whole thing. And it's not great. I would have preferred that they get her new clothes and tell her that this is how you be a professional little princess. But it's not like the worst case of it, so...
Mia did not need a complete makeover. She needed to learn how to properly hydrate her curls.
Number 9 is What a Girl Wants.
Another iconic film.
We watched so many movies for this.
Well, I made you watch a lot of movies.
Yeah, it was great. They all kind of go together in my head at this point.
As much as I hate the trope, makeover movies are really fun, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, in What a Girl Wants, Amanda Bynes plays Daphne, a quirky teen girl who travels to England to meet her long-lost father, who is, coincidentally, a lord currently running for prime minister. It's very similar to Princess Diaries in that her makeover is framed less as making an ugly girl hot and cool, and more as her becoming a proper young lady. In its defense, this movie has her deciding on her own to change her appearance, and she ends up going back to her original style at the end. But I've ranked it higher just because of the sheer difference between her usual style and the one she takes on. Also because Mia didn't have as distinct of a personal style before her makeover as Daphne does before hers.
And I think they do let Mia wear her clothes a lot even after.
And number 8 is Clueless.
I get it. I do. Like, I understand, and I like this movie, and it's fun, and it's cute, but, like, Ty was so cute, and they did so bad, and it's a very odd, like, half-plot to a movie. Like, when I think about this movie, I mostly think about the Paul Rudd storyline, so that's where my head is at all the time. And I think it's unfair. It didn't have to be like that. I don't care about it because it feels like the main hot character giving a makeover to a secondary character as a method for the main character's like self-discovery is just a step removed from actual character growth.
Let's do a makeover.
No.
Oh, come on, let us. Cher's main thrill in life is a makeover, okay? It gives her a sense of control in a world full of chaos.
Clueless has a lot of iconic fashion moments, but Ty was so cute at the start, and I liked her red hair and her flannels, and I think they could have just, like, taught her how to do eyeliner and braid hair without having to change her personal style. Number 7, and the first on our list of no reasons, just hate crimes, is Grease.
This one is the only one, I think, to receive like an equal and opposite male makeover. So I think that's kind of fun. And I think that if both of the main characters spend the last scene of the movie wearing what they think the other person would think is hot, and that's it, it's not the worst thing that could happen. I have only seen the Glee version of this musical because it was not available for free anywhere, but in my defense, Glee did it like 6 different times.
The makeover definitely was not required by the plot at all, and I think Sandy looked really, really cute the whole movie. But yeah, the fact that Danny also got a makeover makes this one feel a lot less insidious than a lot of other makeovers. I just think that Sandy was rocking her poodle skirts and cardigans, and her ponytail is iconic and beyond reproach.
Number 6 is Enchanted, and I was gonna argue that this should be lower on the list because she doesn't get that horrific of a makeover, because what really happens is that Giselle's in her cute flowy hair and dresses for all of the movie, and then they go to a big formal dance where she looks very glamorous and sophisticated. But then I got really upset because her fairy tale hair and dress were like the fun parts, and who says that you have to straighten your hair to go to a ball to see your weird Patrick Dempsey crush? And it comes with this air of her realizing that like, she was being silly before with her loose flowing hair and her curtain dresses, and now she's being a real woman in the real world. And it's like, okay, but they could have left her hair the same color.
It is the same color. I think it's the same.
It's darker.
Okay.
Because I couldn't recognize her as a kid, and it made me really upset. Because if Patrick Dempsey only wants you when you're being a boring, sophisticated, everyday lady, then I don't think he's learned his part of the lesson. Like, they're both supposed to learn about love and how it's real and rare and beautiful, and it's not supposed to be that, like, she learns that she's being silly and needs to get rid of all of her fairy tale notions, and he learns that he wants to fuck a different glossy-haired businesswoman than the one he already is. Like, that's not the movie.
Giselle is so cute, and her dresses are so cute, and she has very pretty hair, and I think that maybe if you can't appreciate a literal princess when she's dressed like one, then you don't deserve her. Number 5 is that episode of iCarly where Sam gets a girly makeover.
Yeah, it's called I Make Sam Girlier. And all I'm saying about Sam iCarly is that if she was in any way real, she would have shaved her head live on like the 3rd web show that they did, and she would have worn nothing but like Spencer's weird hand-me-downs. And I think the real issue here is that they didn't give her any identity in her personality, if that makes sense.
I think so, yeah.
Like, the makeover episode is disgusting because it assumes that her behavior is a lack of effort and a need to learn how to be a girl, not a preference or any natural way of her being, or literally anything but just an accident. Like, this whole time, she's just needed to learn that she's supposed to be different, and she actually does want to be different. But then it's too much effort, and oops, a boy liked her the other way around, so she's going to give up instead of, like, actively cultivating a look and an identity and style based on every other choice they made for this character. Like, it's insane, but that's the blueprint that they went with. It's bad, and when I was 11, this, like, disparity between the character and everything else was just too insane for my brain to process. Her hair was so long and clean.
Number 4 is Breakfast Club.
I'm getting so mad.
The whole movie, Allison is dressed to reflect her character in a long gray skirt and like layers of dark fabric that shield her from the world. And then at the end, Claire takes her into the bathroom and gives her a makeover. And she comes out with her hair pulled back, wearing a frilly pink blouse, and we are supposed to gasp because she was so ugly before and now she's beautiful, and every time it feels like a hate crime.
I would take a bullet for Allison Breakfast Club, and every time I watch any part of this movie, I feel like I have. Because I get so lulled into their friendships and adventures and their understanding of one another. Like, no matter how many times I've seen it, I always start thinking that, like, maybe she'll get to the end as herself and she'll be happy because her new friends understand her art and her clothes and they think that she's nice and they think her hair looks neat. And then every single time Archie's gay mom, Molly Ringwald, is like, okay, but I can't actually be friends with you until I fix you and make you palatable to the weird high school boys that you have no reason to want to impress. And Allison Breakfast Club is like, you're so right. And all I wanted my entire life is to look like a normal teenage girl and for teenage boys to look at me. And it's like, well, if that was true, then the main girl in Lemonade Mouth would get out of the car a lot differently, then wouldn't she? You have a light?
Noah! What are you doing? We don't smoke cigarettes!
Maybe you don't, but I do. Didn't you hear that smoking is cool?
But don't you remember what they told us in school? Smoking kills, Noah.
I don't care what they say in school. School's for chumps.
But we love school. School's where we learned media literacy.
I don't care about that either. Media literacy's for chumps too. I'm too cool for all of this. I'm gonna take my cigarettes and go hang out with my new cool friends.
But okay, I guess I'll just finish the video myself then. Number 3 on our list is Cheaper by the Dozen 2. Sarah, played by Allison Stoner, is always portrayed as a tomboy. She plays sports and wears a lot of baseball caps and beanies and is usually dressed in very loose, comfortable clothes. And then in the sequel, she meets a young Taylor Lautner, and they go on a date to see Ice Age in theaters, and her older sister Hilary Duff gives her a makeover for it. There's this whole scene where she walks outside in a little skirt and a little white blouse wearing lip gloss with her hair curled, and the entire family is like cheering because she's finally dressed like a young lady, and it's insane. Also, Allison Stoner is gay now, and I would love to know how she feels about that specific scene because oh boy, I had a lot of feelings about it as a young gay child. And number 2 is the 1953 musical Calamity Jane. God, this movie's really gay. The titular character, Calamity Jane, played by Doris Day, is a pants-wearing, gun-toting, spitting shotgun messenger for a stagecoach. She travels to Chicago to convince a beautiful singer to come back with her and perform in her town saloon for all the men there. She ends up bringing home the wrong girl, but the two of them become friends and move into Calamity's little cottage together, where they build a home together and they sing about touching women, and the whole thing is very, very gay. And then it gets into a plot of Calamity Jane learning to be a woman and romance a man. She has to start wearing dresses and kissing men, and it's so, so awful. If Noah was here, they'd probably start talking about the Hays Code of it all. Noah's not here.
Soft hands and a little dance, you heal almost anything. There's a magic to your everything, and you're selfish to the way that you think. It's a pleasure just to know you, to know that you're thinking of me.
makeover of all time is... I can't do this. Not without my Noah.
Heard that men eat mice, I haven't seen it, but it's true. A man would eat a mouse, he'd eat it right in front of you. I heard that men eat mice, I haven't seen it, but it's true. A man would eat a mouse, he'd eat it right in front of you.
All the cool kids wear dog collars and smoke cigarettes.
Noah! Chloe, what are you doing here?
Get out of here, rainbow face. Did you hear this is a cool party for cool people? You're not cool.
Noah, don't you see? This isn't the cool party. The cool party was with us all along, with you and me up in the barn.
What do you mean?
We don't need cool clothes and cigarettes to be cool. We've been cool the whole time.
Ha! That sounds like something an uncool person would say.
Come back with me, Noah. Finish the video. I can't do it without you.
But what about the people who bully us? Like your grandma and the tweens at summer camp?
Forget about them. You decide what's cool. You and our 21 subscribers.
If you go with her, you'll never be cool.
We've been cool all along. Don't you see? The cool party was always right here.
You're right. We are cool.
I love you, Noah.
I love you too, Chloe.
You'll regret this! Oh, God! Oh, I'm on fire! Oh, put me out! Put me out!
And the number one biggest hate crime ever committed by a costuming department is Frankie from Skins.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
It's horrific.
She was so cute.
She was so
and they
cute.
ruined it.
Okay, so Skins is very weird to explain because it ran for like 7 seasons, but each group of characters was only there for like 2 seasons, and then they'd switch them out and have a new group of teens. If you were on Tumblr at all between like 2010 and 2014, you have almost definitely seen this girl, Effie, from the second generation of cool edgy teens, because she was smoking cigarettes and smudging her eyeliner on like every single blog at the time. In high school, I watched every season of Skins, and the first 4 are very prototypical, like, up high schoolers doing drugs and having premarital sex, and yelling at their parents or whatever, and then suddenly you get to the 5th season, and the tone just, like, shifts. Yeah, like, on paper, they're still teens doing drugs and having premarital sex and yelling at their parents, but the characters are just a lot different than any other characters that the show had had before.
Yet, nobody in the first couple seasons was, like, going to ballet recitals.
They were not going to ballet recitals in the other seasons. Every other season of Skins is just like, I just snorted 6 pounds of ketamine and shoved a bottle of vodka up my butt. Now I'm gonna go have sex with my math teacher's dad, because that's how I cope with my manic depression, okay?
Which, iconic. Iconic behavior.
And then season 5 is like, OMG, I hope my parents don't find out about this bottle of pink wine we stuck into our sleepover. OMG, we're so bad. Like, there's
a lot of pink.
Yeah, they're all just having a lot more fun together, and we get a lot more scenes of them just kind of being friends.
Yeah.
And I think this change in tone is very clear from the first episode of season 5, when we first see our protagonist of the first episode, Frankie.
Frankie's a really interesting character because she's so different from all of the characters that they'd had on the show until then, and she was also really different from a lot of the characters who were on teen dramas in general at this time, which was 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was watching PBS Kids. She was the adopted child of 2 gay dads, and they'd only adopted her recently, but they loved her so much, and the whole family had just moved so that Frankie could get a fresh start because things kind of went wrong at her old high school with some homophobically motivated bullying.
I can't stand the bitch.
Are they troubling you?
No, I'm fine.
We're Frankie's new friends.
Friends?
Friends?
Girl.
Friends?
She had short hair and wore a lot of layered men's clothing with no makeup and made little stop-motion films in her bedroom, and she was super cute.
Yeah.
She was so cute.
Yeah. Her sexuality and identity get questioned a lot by her peers throughout the show, and she never really gives a solid answer on either question. Like, we don't know if she's just masculine lesbian, or a bisexual trans man, or a gay non-binary person, and they're all possible. We don't know, and she doesn't know, and it's great. She says at one point that she likes people, and that's the closest she ever comes to, like, describing any of it. This isn't to say that's bad not to have a label. Like, it's important to represent teenagers who just don't have one because they're still going through it. Mm-hmm. You know, we all fall into that category at some point.
So sometimes you're a teenager and you know that you're not cis-het, but you're not sure where you fall in that spectrum.
Yeah, your identity ends up being like, I have short hair, and if you look at me, I'll cry.
Yeah, and that's a valid identity.
It's so valid. And so Frankie was really fun because of that.
Yeah.
If you can, like, choose your identity, because I tried today, and now I feel kind of less like me, and I mean, I'm not exactly over the moon about being me in the first place, but now I think I kind of like it less when I'm trying not to be me, because I just want to, like, just be.
They just let her exist, and they gave her some friends who loved her how she was and didn't care how she identified. Okay, actually, Minnie cared, but that was because Minnie was in love with her, in, like, one of the most insane examples of homoerotic bullying I've ever seen. And I don't have time to get into that, but oh my god, she wanted to run away with Frankie and raise a baby with her because she was a closeted lesbian, and it was insane.
Yeah, which really more to do with Minnie than anything else.
Yeah.
Well, Frankie, you haven't really told us whether you're a, or a...
What or a what?
A lesbian.
Remember what I said? You deserve better.
It was really good, and the characters were all so good, and I loved all of them.
And then season 6 happened. Oh my god, they ruined Frankie.
They ruined her. Okay, it felt like for season 5, they had handed the show off to a different set of writers and let them just make this fun, quirky version of Skins, and then the old writers suddenly came back and grabbed it away from them for season 6 and decided to just retcon everything good and nice about season 5 and make it dark and edgy again.
And Frankie got caught in the crossfires.
Season 6 Frankie is a completely different character from season 5 Frankie.
Yeah, season 5 Frankie wore suspenders and button-up shirts to school every day and literally ran off a cliff because someone tried to kiss her and she had too many feelings about it. And season 6 Frankie just kind of wears mini skirts every day and just won't stop having sex with horrible men.
Also, she's mean to her gay dads now.
Her gay dads are named Jeff and Jeff. Which isn't important, but also it's so important, and I'm so glad that our brains can only watch things with subtitles, or we never would have caught that.
They took this really sweet and realistic character who was just starting to figure herself out, and they turned her into every other teen from every other edgy teen show.
Before, she would make bad decisions, but they always felt very grounded and motivated. Like, of course she's gonna mess up and do the wrong thing sometimes because she's a teenager who has no idea who she is, and she thinks maybe she'll figure it out if she tries something wild and different. But at the end of the day, she was just Frankie, and it all felt like part of the path to her discovering that she didn't need to be anything but herself. And then in season 6, it just goes crazy and ruins all the character development they'd built up in the past season.
And she doesn't even look cute doing it.
She doesn't even look cute doing it. She had such a cute style before. And in season 6, she looks like the... Did you write down? And in season 6, she looks like the sales rack of a Forever 21. And it's so awful. And they made her grow her hair out so she has a bob. And it just sucks so bad.
Plus, I will never forgive them for killing off...
Yeah, that was insane.
Season 6 just didn't happen. I will take the parts about Minnie being in love with Frankie and I will throw the rest into an incinerator. It never happened. Everybody is alive and they are all at Minnie and Frankie's wedding and Frankie is wearing a beautiful suit and her little creepers and Rich is her best man and Grace is Minnie's maid of honor and it's very sweet and everybody's crying because they're so happy and season 6 didn't happen. What if we wrote season 6?
Yeah, I would maybe like to play up the thing where every gay man on Earth is in love with Frankie. And it's real confusing for all of them.
Yeah.
Just everyone involved is not having a good time with that dynamic.
Yeah, so that's the worst makeovers. Stop doing that, Hollywood.
Stop doing that.
Stop doing it. So Grandma Julie refused to come back and film the rest of the video unless we gave her a redemption arc.
Which she wanted to write and direct herself.
So here's the scene that she made us film with her.
Well, here I am in the hospital. Oh, I have visitors.
Hello, I came to visit you.
Wow. I'm surprised after calling you guys losers that you would bother to come visit me. But I made a decision. I got ball burnt up smoking cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes is not cool.
It's not.
I don't want to be uncool. So I'm not going to smoke anymore, and I'm not going to hide underneath the bleachers with my uncool friends down there. Can I be your friends?
Of course.
Yeah. You can come to all of our cool hangouts.
I want to come and hang out with you guys.
I love you, but you're crazy.
Yeah, something's wrong with you.
Like, comment, subscribe.
We're getting somewhere these days, but oh god, help the algorithm, please.
Also, if you're here from our last video, because we suddenly have like 500 subscribers, I don't know how many it'll be when this video goes up, but hi!
We love you.
We love you. Sorry this isn't about tramp stamps. I have not thought about tramp stamps in any real life since we made the post. Yeah.
Because all the commenters were right. We are bullies, and we are just doing this for clout.
But I love bullying and being a bully.
Comment if you think we should start a Patreon.
Yeah. Also, comment with what you think the worst makeover was if we didn't get it here. Okay, like, comment, subscribe.
Bedtime, baby.
We'll have fun with HedgeFrog. No clone, frog, and hedge. You can be our new best friend. H-E-D-G-F-R-O-G. HedgeFrog are we. In the arms of the angel.
Still got jellicle cats in my head.
Jellicle songs for jellicle cats. 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 Jellicle songs
I like
for
that it can go
jellicle
infinitely.
cats. Jellicle songs for jellicle cats. Jellicle songs for jellicle cats. Jellicle songs for jellicle cats. Jellicle songs for...
Is it for the newspaper?
Yeah, it's for the newspaper.
Oh my god, I assumed it was for the government.
Why would it be for the government?
That's what Miss Congeniality's about!
She wasn't going to high school! This isn't 21 Jump Street!
I thought it was 21 Jump Street.
That's a different movie.
I thought they did it with ladies.
So anyway, she has to go back to high school.